Hey guys, this is OCP Communications, and welcome to my review slash rant on, well, it's not really a review, it's more like a rant on this piece of shit direct-to-video movie, Hijacked, starring Randy Couture. Flying has never been so dangerous. Yeah, this movie's about as dangerous as fucking Hot Shots. Charlie Sheen. 20,000 feet, there can be no mercy. Yeah, for the fucking audience who's watching this piece of shit, there's no mercy. This movie was fucking awful. I knew that, you know, I had a strong feeling this movie's gonna suck, but is this the worst airplane hijacking movie I've seen? No, I'd probably say it's still Airborne. As bad as this movie is, excuse me, I got a little bit of allergy, just dealing with a little bit of it. So sorry about that. But partly because I'm allergic to this film's bullshit. But same thing with Airborne. I just thought about Airborne and just got an allergic reaction as the movie's full of shit. So much bullshit. Just gives me an allergic reaction. That movie, Airborne is fucking awful. Airborne is the one where you had the fucking chick, the little 12-year-old girl who's flying a plane. That's fucking awful. That's stupid. This isn't really stupid. It's just lame. It's a lame-ass excuse for an action movie. It's not even a good thriller either. It's just a lame-ass movie. And I got it because I was curious. I have to admit, I was actually curious about when I first heard about this one. This is a 2012 film. And I was actually curious about it when I first heard about it because I wanted to see if Randy Couture could actually carry a film, an action film. It doesn't have to be a big-budget film. A lot of actors have proven, like, look at Oliver Gruner. Look at Oliver Gruner and Gary Daniels. They never got to do big budget Hollywood movies, but they carried their films and they kicked a lot of ass, and they had enough charisma to their characters. Were they the greatest actors in the world? No, but they were damn good martial artists, and they were fun to watch. It was fun to watch them doing, you know, their craft and doing what they do best. Randy Couture? UFC fighting is not fun to watch. It's just ground and pound, and that's not fun to watch on a film. It's not exciting enough of a fighting style to watch in a feature film. And top of all that, he's a shitty actor. He can't act. We're shit. You see the explosion here in the background on this cover? It's because Randy Couture's acting was so bad it blew up the fucking plane. I mean, and there really wasn't any... That explosion on the front cover... That's the big explosion that you'll see related to this movie, and it's not in the movie. There is not an explosion this big in the entire movie. It's not even there. So that's fucking false advertising. Also, right here, you have Vinnie Jones right here in the corner on the plane. He never gets on the plane. So that's another bit of false advertising in the film's part. And then also, on the bottom here, you see you have Dominic Purcell with the mustache. Is acting like he's one of the villains. He's not one of the villains. So, and this guy in the corner here with the gun, he never is on the plane. So, you have a bunch of fucking bullshit and lies. The whole cover's made of lies. Except for the one shot of Randy Couture. Because he's on the plane. And some of the villains, the bad guys. But anyway, that's only the least of the film's problems. The film has so many other fucking issues. You know, there's a laundry list of fucking problems in this fucking movie. It gets a 3.8 out of 10 on IMDb, and I think that's too high. I think a 3.8 is just is generous for this fucking waste of space. So anyway, yeah, Randy Couture can't act. He has no charisma. He doesn't have an exciting fighting style like Oliver Gruner or Gary Daniels did. So, you know, if you're going to be boring like that, you better have some good acting. But he's not a good actor, and he can't do it. It's just, you know, he's fine with a little bit of supporting bit roles, like this role as Toll Road in Expendables films. But as a lead, he can't carry a film. He just doesn't have what it takes. And maybe it's because it was just a shitty script. Maybe that's another reason why I don't think anybody could have made this script any good. Because the movie is fucking boring. This movie is about as exciting as... Watching this film is about as exciting as painting a fucking fence. It's not exciting painting a fence. It's not fun painting a fence. This movie is about as exciting as painting a fence. Actually, that might be kind. Painting a fence would probably be more productive, and painting the fence might be more entertaining. Because at least I could pop in my headphones and listen to some awesome 80s music, like some Stan Bush or some John Farnham. You know, at least I could do that. But, you know, I can't do that with this. I just got to sit and watch this tedious, boring, slow-paced excuse for an action movie. So anyway, with the lead who has even less charisma than a bowl of Cheerios. Yeah, a bowl of cereal would have more presence than Randy Couture does in this movie. To set it up perfectly with his character, when you first see his character in this movie, he's asleep! He's asleep! When you first see your hero in this movie, your lead, Randy Couture, he's sleeping in a fucking chair and he gets woken up by his girlfriend texting him or some shit. Yeah! That's what you're getting into, folks. Do you know what you're in for when your lead is asleep? In the beginning of, when you first time you see the lead, your action hero, your lead, your supposed badass, and you know, and he's asleep. I couldn't believe that. Are you kidding me? And his acting is so shitty, he gets outacted by Dominic Purcell. And Dominic Purcell is not a good actor. And he gets outacted by Dominic Purcell. He gets outacted by the actress who plays his ex-wife, Tiffany Dupont. He gets outacted by supporting cast members, like the guy who played one of the flight attendants, Morgan Gillio. He gets outacted by that guy. It's so embarrassing. It's just like, wow, this is your lead, and he can't fucking deliver a line to save his life. Anyway, the movie even starts off bad. I mean, right off the bat, you also the film. I wanted to point this out. The movie's directed by a guy named Brandon Nutt. Yeah, because this is the result. This movie is the result of your testicle deciding to fucking direct a movie. If one of your nuts could direct a movie, they direct a piece of shit like this. You know, it's a piece of shit because it's directed by a fucking testicle, man. Testicles shouldn't direct movies, and this is proof of that. Also, it's a Nutt House production. Because for some reason, this guy, Brandon Nutt, decided to call his production company Nutt House Productions. And to be honest, I'd rather see the results of, you know, the fruits of labor from a group of, inmates from an insane asylum. My local insane asylum broke out, got a video camera, and got a bunch of people together and tried to make a movie and called it Hijacked. I'd rather see that than this fucking movie. Because at least it'd be fucking interesting. It'd be fucking weird, crazy, nuts. Probably not make any fucking sense. But I would probably guarantee it'd be more interesting than this piece of shit. And also, I had to point this out. This movie has a shit ton of producers, executive producers. This is how many executive producers this movie has. Ben Ross, Jonathan B. Schwartz, Seth Willinson, Tom Rooker, Scott Shuster, Mickey Gooch. Mickey Gooch! What? The fuck? A gooch? So you have one of the producers is a fucking gooch. The director is a fucking testicle. And then you have another producer's name is Scoop Wasserstein, and he also wrote this. He did the story for this piece of shit. The screenplay by Declan O'Brien is awful, with some fucking cringe-inducing, terrible lines of dialogue. And Scoop Wasserstein, yeah, it's scooping your balls and it's kicking you in the gooch. Hijacked. The movie directed by a testicle and produced by your gooch. Are you kidding me? God. I'm not making that shit up, too. It's real. This guy's name really is Mickey Gooch. I don't know if I can really show it here. Yeah, Mickey Gooch. Brandon Nutt. This is what happens if your gooch and your testicle, one of your gooch and one of your testicles decides to get together and make a movie. This is the result. This piece of fucking shit. Anyway, the movie opens up and I already knew I was in for hell. Because it starts out with a fucking newscast during the opening credits. I'm like, oh, fucking great. So the only way that you're able to show me your exposition of your plot is to show me the fucking news. I don't want to watch the fucking news. Nobody wants to watch the news. Nobody wants to sit down and watch a movie and then watch the news while they're watching the movie. Especially an action movie. I don't want to watch the fucking news. So right off the bat, I'm stuck watching fucking newscasts with some shitty-ass filter, which makes it look like it's got scan lines all over it, and the color fades to black and white for like a second, which makes me think there's something wrong with my TV or my Blu-ray player, which is not a good idea for your movie, because then I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with that? What? Did this movie fuck up my player? Is this movie so shitty it fucked up my TV? What the fuck is going on here? Of course, that's not the case. So all it is exposition to build up this backstory behind this group of crime organization called the Tribe, and they work, they're evil, underground bunch of people and group of drug dealers and gun smugglers, and then they might have, and then they also talk about this billionaire business guy played by Craig Fairbrass called Bruce Lieb, who's supposed to be this really big, rich guy, Lieb Industries. And you get sort of a vibe earlier in the film that his sister, who's played by Gina Phillips, Lieb, who was horrible in this movie. She has a fucking fake-ass accent, is overacting her ass off, and is just miserable in this movie, like a majority of people in this film. And so you get the whole sort of, you introduce to the Tribe, here's what's going on with the company. You get more bullshit, more boring ass shit with the fucking meetings with Lieb Industries and the fucking business investors and a fucking party. You don't even see Randy Couture in the beginning. The first 5 minutes is a fucking stupid ass rich fucks party for Bruce Lieb and a bunch of people showing up at some fucking ritzy ass fucking party. And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, I'm watching the same movie. Vinnie Jones shows up. And then you get introduced to Randy Couture. Like I said, he's asleep. Just like you want to be after getting through 10 minutes of this shit. You want to be fast asleep instead of watching this crap. And so then he wakes up, meets up with Vinnie Jones. They go in and find something's going on in a warehouse. They go in and get in a shitty shootout with some awful CGI blood. And, got no choreography. It's just... It's like it's like playing Lethal Protectors. What is that fucking game, that arcade game where you just shooting, it's like playing a game of what is it, the game where you had the light gun on the NES. God damn it, I can't remember the fucking name of it, but you shot like targets, you shot like gangsters and people like that. I can't remember, like Wild Gunmen or some shit. Just there's nothing to it. It's like House of the Dead, but shitty, because you're not shooting zombies. It's just... And then the CGI blood and the awful sound effects that the gunshots make. That when the people get shot, they make these horrible, awful these sound effects that sound like somebody stepped on a tomato or some shit, or a bag of ketchup, ketchup packet, shoots a guy, it literally shoots a guy in the head, and it goes. I'm like, oh great, wet fart for sound effects. Oh, wonderful. Come on, your movie stinks enough. Stop farting, please stop it. It stinks enough. I don't need any more flatulence. Just stop. So anyway, then you get this shitty fight. One of the girls in the fucking ritzy club turns on Vinnie Jones, puts a gun against him. Vinnie Jones is like, just do it. Do it, you stupid bitch. Just do it, you bitch. I'm like, do it. Still doing the juggernaut. Just still trying to do the whole bitch. Vinnie Jones loves saying the word bitch. He has to say bitch in every movie, I guess. It's in his contract. Gets shot in the back of the head. And Randy Couture's horrible acting. Like, no! Because they're buddies. And they established that earlier in the film, where he was about to get some nookie, but Randy Couture called him up and they met later, and Vinnie Jones has this wonderful line of dialogue where he's all like, You're a professional cock knocker, you know. You're a professional cock blocker, you know that? I wish you said cock knocker. You're a professional cock blocker, you know that? It's like, yeah. You're like, oh, fucking great. Yeah, cock blocker. Yeah, you're not getting any fucking tail. If you decide to watch this movie with your girlfriend or your date, you're not getting tail later. She's breaking up with your ass, smacking you in the face with a cricket bat, and leaving the fucking room. And getting the fuck out of Dodge. Getting as far away from you as possible for making her sit through this piece of shit. Anyway, this movie is a cock blocker. So anyway, so she goes. So then you have the girl turns on Vinnie Jones, shoots him in the head. Randy Couture goes, no, and then Vinnie Jones dies. And then you get this whole thing where Lieb is gonna get on a plane, and you find out Randy Couture's ex or fiance. The script is confusing. It doesn't really, honestly, especially near the end. I'll explain. I'm fucking bullshit. X is on the plane, and she's one of the few actors that didn't mind the film. I think it's Tiffany Dupont plays Olivia Rousseau. It could be the other actress, Ashley Cusato, as Lysol, but I think it's Tiffany Dupont. And I thought she was pretty decent. Like I said, Morgan Gillio plays one of the flight attendants. Billy I thought was okay. Patrick Trey Rafferty as Max was decent. Brandon Gordon as he was just a bartender. He wasn't much of anything. There was one of these bad guys who was fucking awful. This big, like, roided out motherfucker who looked like the Miz on steroids. The Miz from WWE. He was a shitty actor. She was a shitty wrestler and a shitty actor, too. Looked like they were related. He was awful. Trying to see if I can find his name. I can't find it. I'll just show you the guy. I'll just show you the guy. That guy in the corner there. Maybe this will be a little bit easier if I take the cover off. That guy right there in the corner. Right there. Next to the guy with the mustache and the white shirt. That's the villain. And look at that fucking hat. What the fuck is that, Gina Phillips? What the fuck is that shit on your head? This movie was not only a disaster in you know, the screenwriting way, the fucking acting, the fucking action, the fucking pacing. It was also a fashion disaster with that fucking hat. What the fuck is that? Did you kill a fucking crow and stick it on the side of your head? What the fuck is that shit? Anyway, it was distracting. I was like looking at that. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm not even that much of a fashionable guy, but I'm looking at that. I'm like, what the fuck are you wearing, woman? What the hell? Anyway, so you get to the whole sort of thing. There's going to be a plane. You know, his ex is on the plane, and she's helping out Bruce Lee. And then what happens is, Bruce Lee meets up with Randy Couture, says he wants him on the plane. There's a couple that like just start fucking in one of the rooms. I guess this is the hotel room before they get on the plane, but I think it's actually on the plane. It's not really explained very well, and if it was, I didn't give a shit because the movie was so fucking boring and shitty and dull and tedious that I'm sorry I didn't fucking pay attention because the movie didn't earn my attention. Like, I kept fucking going back to my computer and checking YouTube and checking the status of some of my, you know, downloads and all that kind of shit. I'd rather do that than watch this fucking piece of shit. I'd rather fucking sit and twiddle my thumbs for an hour and a half. So I'd be more entertained. So then when you get introduced to these shitty characters, two couple, they're fucking, you see some nudity, but it's, you know, see some titties, but it doesn't save the movie. You find out that there's these terrorists on board, and shit goes down, and the sister is in on it, Gina Phillips is in on it, with these terrorists, and what happens is, a couple of these terrorists find a way to get into the room where the other couple are fucking, and they end up, one of the terrorists is a chick, and she ends up shooting the couple, after they just got done fucking with a gun, with a sniper. And then the mastermind behind the whole thing is like, why did you do that? Don't do that again. And then later in the film, they get a flight attendant guy and they take him in a room and they shoot him in the head. So they didn't listen to their fucking leader. They didn't fucking, I guess they don't have any loyalty or fucking care what he says. And then you have this one guy who's a bodyguard, I think, for Lee, who gets shot in the shoulder. And it's played by, the guy's played by Dominic Purcell. And pretty much unrecognizable. And he has like this, I think it's like an Australian sort of accent. And I liked him. I thought he was actually he was a better actor than Randy Couture. And I thought he had some decent moments. There's one scene where he's got one of the girls that sniped one of the loving couple in the beginning. Who were banging, having the time of their lives. And she gets accosted by, grabbed and slammed to the ground by Couture. She's not giving them information. Dominic Purcell comes up with a gun and he's like, you're gonna answer his questions or I'm gonna fucking kill you. It's like, you're gonna answer this man's questions or I'm gonna fucking kill you. I didn't mind his stuff. And then his reaction, and when he finds the bomb on the plane, was perfect. It's exactly how I felt while watching this movie. It just cuts, it cuts to his reaction finding a bomb on the plane in this car that's in the cargo hold, and he's like, fuck. And I'm like, yep, I feel your pain. Exactly how I feel watching this piece of shit. And so you get the whole sort of gist of the terrorist plot. I thought was somewhat interesting. They're like Robin Hoods. This guy's robbing from the poor and giving it to the rich. Giving it to the Robin. Whoops! Robbing from the rich and giving it to the poor. That's not Robin Hood. That's an asshole. That's a robber. That's Robber Hood. That's a robber in a hood. That's not Robin Hood. Robbing from the poor. Oh God, this movie's killing my brain cells just talking about it. Anyway, they rob from the rich and give to the poor. Which is like this idea that's been done before. But I thought it was at least sort of different. It wasn't just a typical, they're doing it from the money angle. And then you find out that they end up going up to the room where Lieb has locked himself in on the plane. They end up shooting the sister in front of him, blow her head off, shoot her in the head. You don't see it. It's not much of anything. You just see her screaming, "No, I'm your sister, you fucking asshole!" And I'm like, I hate her. She was a terrible actress with terrible fashion sense and wore one of the ugliest hats I've ever seen in my life. So just blow that bitch away. I'm like, then crash the plane. Everybody dies. I'd be fine with that. Just fucking end this movie already. And like I said, it takes to the 45-minute mark until you actually get to the fucking hijacking scene. So then they start hijacking the plane, reveal their plot. I like the scene that the terrorist guy has of the lawyer, where the lawyer's like, I can give you anything you want. Just name it. Name your price, anything. It's like, oh, do you have $2.73 billion, you can give to me? It's like, no. Yeah, no? Well, then shut the fuck up. I actually didn't mind that line of dialogue. And then you get shitty fucking fight scenes. Literally, the first time Randy Couture does anything other than shoot a gun and shoot some people and CGI blood pours out of people's fucking, chests. You have this, and I also forgot the plane itself. Horrible. Talking about shitty CGI. The plane in this movie is entirely CGI and it looks horrendously bad. It doesn't look real at all. It doesn't have any sort of movement. It looks faker than a shitty model. It looks faker than the shitty model that was used in Airborne. I never thought I'd say that Airborne had better effects than this movie, but it does. The effects reminded me of the bad CGI that were in Airborne. Yeah, Airborne. The bad CGI, and that was Steve Guttenberg. But I meant Airspeed. Airspeed had some shitty model effects, but they're better than the stuff in the CGI plane effects in this movie. And like I said, Airborne, it did remind me of the shitty CGI that was in Airborne with Steve Guttenberg, but that had Steve Guttenberg. This doesn't have Steve Guttenberg to save it. This has Randy Couture, who fucking acts, who has no charisma, is nowhere near as much fun to watch as Steve Guttenberg is. Doesn't have a presence. So, Even the first time he hits somebody, like actually punches somebody, I would blink and you miss it. I had to rewind the film to actually see it. So I wasn't fucking paying attention for good reason. There's nothing to pay attention. There's nothing for me to pay attention to in this piece of shit. So it punches the guy, and it's like a blink and you miss it scene, punches some guy. And then you have throughout the movie the same fucking guy in multiple fight scenes. You're like, just kick this guy's ass. What the fuck? This guy's like a spindly guy. He's like about my height, maybe a little bit more built than I am. Can you imagine that fight scene? Seeing my ass get kicked multiple times around a movie? Nobody wants to see that. So this fucking skinny ass white guy gets his ass kicked like 3 different times in this movie to fill the film's running time. You know, he gets punched in the knocked out by Randy Couture once. Then he gets in a fight with Randy Couture again. Tries to stick him with a knife, and that doesn't fucking work. Randy Couture beats his ass with a cricket bat. Yes! A cricket bat! And then that just reminded me of the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. I just wanted to watch that movie. Reminded me of that scene with Raph and Casey Jones. And it was like, what, a cricket bat? You know, it was like, what, you want a crumpet? Some tea with that? I was like, a Jose Canseco bat? Don't tell me you paid money for that. No, I mean, seriously. And then I feel like Raph, too, in that movie. I'm watching this piece of shit, screaming at the top of my lungs, damn! Anyway, so, yeah, a cricket bat? Cricket? What is that, a crumpet? Anyway, so gets this guy's ass to the cricket bat. That's ridiculous. That's just really fast, too. Hits him in the chest and smacks him in the back of the head. And then later in the film, the guy gets back up. He tries to stick Couture again with a fucking knife. You're like, the fucking knife? Come on, quit it. And then he takes the cricket bat and starts beating Randy Couture over the head with it. Then I'm like, that's exactly how I'm feeling watching this fucking movie. Getting my ass kicked by a fucking skinny white guy smacking me in the face with a cricket bat. And this is exactly the pain that I'm feeling watching this piece of shit is equal to getting smacked in the face with a cricket bat over and over again, repeatedly. Just So anyway, eventually though, he gets the skinny white guy gets his ass knocked out by Randy Couture's ex or fiance or whatever, fuck buddy, who fucking cares, knocks him out with a camera. And later the guy still gets back up, and then Randy Couture breaks his neck, I think. And then you have a fight scene. There was not really a fight scene with the other girl, hijacker. She gets her ass kicked. Actually, she gets shot at the end by the fiance/ex of Randy Couture. And they have the main big fight guy, the main big dude, the steroid-looking dude who looks like he might be the Mrs. Dad. He gets in a fight with Randy Couture, and it's shitty. It's just one of those and shitty choreography. Randy Couture tackles him into some luggage or some shit. And then it ends in the most fucking shitty way imaginable how this guy dies. He grabs a fucking knife out again. Again with the fucking knives. And he grabs a fucking knife. And then he tries to stab Randy Couture. And he's trying to stab him. And Randy Couture grabs his arm, twists his hand around, and stabs the bad guy with his own knife. And he dies. That fucking lazy ass shit. I hate that. This shit sucks. No movie's ever made that good. That's always lame. Making the bad guy stab himself with his own knife. Shitty, lazy ass excuse for a death scene. And there's other stuff in this movie where it looks like they're trying to film a slasher movie. There's a flight attendant lady who's hiding under a bed. Next shot, she's looking around under the bed, and then a shot happens. You hear like horror movie music, like trying to do a jump scare, and she gets drugged from underneath the bed. Kicking and screaming. I'm like, what is this, Friday the 13th on an airplane? I wish it was. Fucking Jason slaughtering people on a fucking airplane would be more exciting than this fucking piece of shit. So anyway, yeah, this is after about an hour in, and you get to the whole fucking fight with the main bad guy, and it's not worth shit. And then they try to disarm the bomb, and what happens is they cut the red wire, disarms it, but for some reason another room, the room where Leave was in, blows up. Plane fucks up, but they actually end up landing the plane safe and sound, And then you're like at the hour and 10-minute mark, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Is this movie going to end? Like, what? Is it already over? I hope so. They land the plane. The movie drags on even more with fucking useless scenes of slow motion with the people getting off the plane. You know the movie's fucking bad, but it's like, I gotta extend the running time. So let's show in slow motion scenes of the people getting off the fucking plane. Like, god damn it, just end. And then you go to a scene, Randy Couture with his computer, with his fucking computer geek buddy, and they're figuring out something about the money that was transferred somewhere, and they're thinking that the tribe has something to do with it. Cut to Randy Couture in some meeting room with a bunch of fucking agents or some shit. And you get flashback scenes, other scenes of the movie we've already fucking seen, and we didn't give a shit about. And he tells about this plot that makes no goddamn sense. Where he's like, Lieb is the one that's behind the whole, who's the main guy behind the tribe. And he never even got on the plane. You know, I'm like, what? But the way the movie was set up, you got on the plane, you shook his hand, he wanted you on the plane, he was in the room, he saw his sister get killed, and he got off the plane, he wasn't on the plane, how? What? Huh? Why? Worry? What the fuck? And then the movie ends in the most laziest fucking way imaginable. So you have the setup where he's the bad guy all along. And then you set up this shit where Randy Couture and Otto, the character played by Dominic Purcell. So you have Randy Couture's character, Paul Ross, and Otto. So they end up going to some fucking, I don't know, Acapulco, Mexico, or fucking Rio, or some fucking place where this Lieb's hiding out. It looks like the same cafe that Bruce Wayne hung out at the end of The Dark Knight Rises. So Bruce Wayne's over there, and the table, you know, across from Bruce Lieb, you know, Craig Fairbrass's ass, and he's got a bunch of hot, scantily clad women in bikinis around him. Then you cut to the camera pans over, and in the same restaurant, I guess, is Randy Couture and Otto. Randy Couture sipping a fucking beer. Some shitty ass song playing in the background. And then you cut to fade to black as Randy Couture and Otto get up out of their chairs. Randy Couture sipping his beer. Cut to end credits. And I'm like, oh my fucking god, this movie is fucking bullshit. This movie's fucking shit. It's a fucking piece of shit. Excuse for an action movie. Direct to video or not. Boring. Tedious, useless, limp dick of a fucking movie. Randy Couture, do us all a favor, don't act in movies anymore because you can't fucking do it. And please, God, don't let producers, don't let movies get produced by gooches and movies directed by fucking testicles, because this is what you get, fucking pieces of shit. Okay? Hijacked? I got a hijack for you. I'd rather take a fucking crowbar and shove it up my ass than watch this fucking movie again. This fucking terrible, miserable, piece of shit fucking direct-to-video action movie on a plane that, you know, I do not recommend to anybody. So, anyway, I really don't know what to say about Hijacked except, whoa, what a fucking piece of shit this was. Was there anything I liked? Like I said, I like the actress who played Dupont, who played Randy Couture's ex/fiance. I thought Dominic Purcell was actually decent, which is a shocker because that guy, a lot of the stuff I've seen him in before, he's a shitty actor. But other than that, there's nothing. The score is fucking generic as hell. The directing is shitty. The action, what action? There's no fucking action. There's less action in this than there is in fucking, I mean, you get more action in an episode of fucking The Muppet Show than you do in this fucking thing. There's no action in this movie. Like I said, there's more action in Hot Shots. There's definitely more action in Hot Shots Part 2. Hot Shots Part 2 is like a fucking action masterpiece compared to this piece of shit. Airplane has more action than this movie. Airplane 2, the sequel, has more action than this piece of shit. Those are comedies. You have less if you have less action than a comedy, then you suck. Anyway, I really don't know what to say, except if I could, I would hijack every fucking copy of this movie, put it in a fucking one of those cargo bays, like put it in like a fucking giant net, like the ones in, like, you know, they use in the military, like in that scene in The Living Daylights, and throw it into the fucking ocean. Every single goddamn copy of this movie, put it into a giant net and toss it into the fucking ocean, or do what Superman did in Superman 4, put it in a net like the nuclear missiles and throw it into the sun. Just so nobody has to fucking watch this shit. Nobody should be subjected to this shit. Nobody should be watching this shit. I should. I mean, I watched it. That's enough. I sacrificed myself for you guys. Trust me, do not watch this piece of shit, even out of curiosity's sake, to see if Randy Couture can be a good action lead. The answer is no. He can't. Can't do it. And this movie sucks. So I'm gonna rate it out of 5 stars. It gets 1. Actually, it's 2, fucking half a star, just for those 2 things I mentioned. 2 actors. Other than that, there's nothing else going for this movie. Boring, slow paced. Points the plot makes no fucking sense, especially the ending. It's half-assed. And they just drink a beer and go cut that credits. They're like, I'm gonna go get the guy off screen. You're like, what the fuck? You're cheap, but that's no excuse not to get the main bad guy at the end. What the fuck? Give the audience a major case of blue balls, even if they did care about the fucking movie. I didn't care about the movie, so I didn't give a fuck. The beer that Randy Couture was drinking at the end, I'm like, yeah, can I have one? Can I have a couple? Can I have 3? Can I have a whole fucking 6-pack so I can forget this fucking piece of shit? Please, thank you, so I can get fucking wasted and you know, forget all this crap that I just witnessed in this shitty movie called Hijacked. Anyway, I really don't know what to say except thanks for watching my rant on Hijacked, and I will see you guys later. See ya.